about when you were first introduced to drugs?
So growing up, I suffered from severe depression and social anxiety, and along the path of my childhood, at some point, I discovered marijuana as a way to numb those anxiety feelings and all that emotion that was going on with it. But probably about the age 14, I lost 4 mates in the space of 3 months. So as a result of that, I turned to the only thing I knew that could help me emotionally cope with that, which was marijuana. Things kind of escalated from there. I started dealing and using a fair bit, and whilst I was dealing, I met people that used a whole lot more than marijuana. So as a result, I ended up at about age 15 using ecstasy and speed, and then it eventuated to a point that I was using it every weekend before I even really noticed.
So you became dependent on it by age 15 and a whole lot of different substances.
Yeah, yep.
How did it affect the rest of your teenage years?
So I'd gone through school, was quite academically advanced, so I got a lot of academic scholarships through school, and as my drug dependency grew, I dropped out of school about 3 times, ended up dropping out of uni, losing a scholarship to one of the most prestigious schools in Victoria, and just so on and so forth. It was just a rapid decline.
How did you respond emotionally to those misfortunes?
I kind of thought the world was stacked up against me. I kind of developed a view that basically the odds, like the dice were loaded, the odds were against me, but in reality it wasn't that. It was my mindset had kind of changed, and I had developed a need for something else other than a general and rational progression of life. I was more dependent on the drugs than the reality of life itself.
Did you delve deeper into the drug life at that stage?
Yeah, I was selling more and more, and as I dropped out of school, that was what I thought was a way to make money. So as that went on, I kind of ended up finding heavier and heavier drugs, and eventually that led to me turning to ice, which was a very rapid decline after that.
When did you first walk into City Builders Church?
About 2012, somewhere around then, and that was about the time that I was starting to use a lot of ice. It was about the point where I was on daily use, so I was smoking about $1,500 worth of ice a day, and yeah, it was about that time that I met a few people from the church and came along, and didn't really sit well. It was very confronting, which in a result actually led to me going and using more because I wasn't ready to be confronted. But it also gave a chance for God to sow a seed within me. I actually almost thought that Pastor Brian had been told about what was happening with me, because the first time I went, he was speaking about how Jesus was there to heal the brokenhearted, and how his sacrifice of life was there to cleanse us, and everything he spoke on just literally sounded like he prepared a message for me when I walked in. So it was very, very confronting, and just the amount of love everyone had, I actually passed them all off as fake because it was just, I wasn't used to it. It was just a lot.
What type of turn did your life take after that?
Very bad. I started selling more and more, and I got involved with other criminal behaviours, guns, stuff like that, and robberies and all this sort of stuff. And it got to a point that I was raided by police and charged with trafficking of cannabis and methamphetamine, as well as weapons charges. And then after that, I kind of still didn't click. Like, I didn't realise how bad my life was going. I actually was selling drugs in the courthouse while I was waiting to be heard. And yeah, it was a rapid decline from there.
Things still got worse for you after that point.
Yep.
When you broke up with your girlfriend.
Yep.
Would you say that you hit rock bottom then?
Yeah, I kind of gave up on life. I stopped selling as much, which was obviously an income for me. So I ended up homeless, and for about 12 to 18 months I was squatting in abandoned buildings and so forth, and doing robberies to try eat. So things declined very quickly, which then resulted in me again being charged by the police on multiple occasions over that time. I ended up with more trafficking charges, weapons charges, robbery of 3 businesses, indecent exposure while I was high on ice. Just charges kept racking up, and that resulted in me spending 6 months in jail. And that was, kind of a turning point.
So what was life in prison like? Did you hit rock bottom and then begin to want change?
I was very split in prison with how I felt. So about halfway through my sentence probably, I started picking up the Bible and reading it. But I was very, very split, because during the day I would just kind of run amok with the guys and, do whatever while I'm there. But then when I got locked down in the cell, the first thing I did was pick up the Bible and read. So it was almost like that seed that got planted at that time, 5-6 years beforehand, when I first rocked up to church, was still resonating in me. So I was kind of searching for an answer, and I wasn't sure what it was, but I just felt like that was where it would be found.
Yeah. When you were nearing the end of your 6-month sentence, you were given an interesting opportunity. Do you want to describe what that was?
So one of my cellmates while I was in there was also a friend of mine. He actually propositioned me to take over his business when I got out, which was selling guns and large amounts of ice, which will be a profit of tens of thousands of dollars a week for me. When I got out, he gave me his phone number to contact him. When I got out, I was very, yet again, split on what I would do. I kind of thought I had 3 choices. I could go down that track and in a month's time end up back in jail again, or worse, I could be dead, or I could change. And that resulted in me going back to City Bills Church, the only place that I could really think of that could give me that change.
Can you describe what it felt like walking back into church after all those years and all of those experiences? What was it like for you?
It was really hard to begin with. Before I walked in, it was very hard. So I was very nervous about what people would think of me. But when I walked in the doors, it was like I was home. Like everybody was just so loving and embracing when I walked in, and just so encouraging. So it was a very heartwarming experience going there.
It was quite a quick transformation for you. Can you describe what is the foundation of that change?
So it would be, well, obviously one, Jesus. God was definitely what changed me. But I think it was the relational and the loving care within the church itself that allowed that change to happen. So over probably a 2-week period, I think that change really started to come. And because I was so embraced and welcomed, that allowed me to be there and open my heart, and that allowed Christ in to really start changing and working within me. So over that period, my anxiety that I'd suffered with, like I said, for as long as I can remember, dropped away. Same with my depression. I had no withdrawals from drugs. Happier than I've ever been in my life. and just at peace.
And what was the message of the gospel? How does it relate to you and where you were at?
Probably the biggest thing was the salvation of Christ's blood. Like God sent His own Son to die on the cross for us, and with that blood we're washed clean. Any sin, any mistake, no matter how far gone you are, God loves you and He has a place for you. All we have to do is allow Him to come in.
Yeah. And what is your hope for the future now that you know you have a future?
I'd really like to reach back into that community that I came from. So I just know there's so many broken and lost souls within that drug culture and community that God could just set them free. And I would just love to be able to reach into that and help draw people out of what I came out of, because I know it's possible.